Good morning, good afternoon and good evening from wherever you are in the world. My name is Sky and this is the International Sim Drivers Association Porsche Cup Challenge for spring of 2021, and we are here in the picturesque and idyllic weather, especially for sim racing, country of Spain and the F1 track, Barcelona, Catalonia. Reworked a few times in its long and illustrious history in the Formula 1 calendar, as Andre Couchard gets a bit of a drift on coming through turn 3. This is qualifying and the drivers have 20 minutes to get their best gambit in to put them to the top of the timesheets. Drivers to be looking out for, obviously, the championship leaders in the form of Torregrosa. Zamora was setting some blistering times as well. Minton, always a name to look out for, as well as Filip Borovec in the 22 car. Currently in 10th position on the driver ticker on the left-hand side of your screens. Andrej, we are looking to... expecting him to take the pole position in AM class as a fair assumption to make. Langendijk is a man... Where is Langendijk actually? He is here in the black, the two-tone black 999 car for Remco Langendijk. Good to have him in the race again. And has earned himself a bit of space on the track, it looks like. Yeah, the 999 car has got so much airtime, and this could be a critical strategy play in this qualifying session. Filip Borovec, who has a massive amount of space to the cars ahead. Diego Zamora looks like he's in... Interesting. Good evening, Tom, as well. Lovely to have you with us. But yes, these early stages of qualifying, all of the drivers already out on track and trying to set their best banker lap times. This won't be ultimate pace, I wouldn't expect, although with the way that Diego took turn 1, it looks like he might be going for that overall pole early in this session. 20 minutes more than enough time for the drivers to get everything up to temperature and working conditions. Although with Assetto Corsa Competizione, we have known that sometimes the tyres take a little bit longer to warm up, with a track temperature of 35 degrees and no wind whatsoever coming across the Spanish hillside. Though I'm pretty sure tonight is not going to be one of those nights or days. It is 11 o'clock, according to the qualifying session timer. It's not going to be one of those days where the drivers are struggling to get the cars up to temperature. So, for those of you who are in the YouTube chat, how are we doing tonight? As always, if there are any points that I'm missing, I only have one set of eyes, unfortunately. So if there is anything I'm missing, anything you want me to draw attention to, or anything that doesn't quite make sense and you'd like a bit more help, you know, those sorts of things, then by all means throw it in the YouTube chat. I do have the window up and I'm waiting for your comments in the perhaps slower sections of the hour-long race that we've got to look forward to. That said, it's very rare that we've had any kind of downtime in these hour-long races. As soon as the pack seems to start forming a sensible order, it will get shuffled again by the pit stops. Good evening to Kiki, Steve, good to see you here, Bram Wiedel, great to see you here as well, and Stefan Smith. I hope I'm pronouncing all those names right. I could not be. It's very possible. But at the top of the timesheets, with the opening salvos fired from these flat 6 Porsche engines. Oh, it's Matej. Sorry, Matej. Why aren't you driving? Come on, man. No, I'm still confused. I still don't get it. Ah, Roger. So you are using your free time to watch as opposed to drive. No, glad to see you in chat at least. Hope I can put on a good show for you tonight and catch all of the good grief. Torregrosa goes to the top of the timesheets with a 147.3 with neither Zach 100th of a second behind. That's a qualifying gap we can live with. Filip Borovec winner last time out of Silverstone. A fairly similar track to Barcelona, but the track temperatures are just a different ball game. Okay, put the camera on Filip. I'm sure I could do that. I'm very interested in Diego Zamora at the moment because his practice pace was enormously quick, and someone else who is enormously quick as well, because he's getting a tow from Andrej, is Torregrosa in that 7 car. He's gone to the top of the timesheets, but he is running faster. Neither Zach too is running faster as well, but as he comes down in towards the final sector, 3/10, it really makes a difference having a car to follow. And no traffic as well. Oh, as he gets it very wrong on the exit of turn 12. He's gonna... yeah, he aborted that one. Now Zach's dropped into the pits. Filip Borovec is, abandoning to the pits as well. Cars who are going faster at the moment. Peter Baitner is going faster by quite a stretch. This would be enough to get him a few positions up. There we go. Baitner to 11th and 4th in the AM class, but Jokic behind is a second up, and he's going to throw it all away. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh. Could not hold the Porsche together. Remco Langendijk having set a mediocre is a bit cruel. A satisfactory opening salvo. I was going to say, is Filip back out again? Filip is out, so we can still get his... What is going on with that livery out of interest? I understand it to an extent, but is this one of the inbuilt liveries that you can customize from the car selection screen? How are times looking? Remco is going slightly faster. Torregrosa 2 is once again still working the tyres in such a way that he is able to... Oh, okay, cool. So, how long did that take him to get that livery up and working? Oh, I wonder if this is going to be a valid lap time for Alex after he ran wide there. Can't remember the... Yep, it is a valid lap time. 3/10 to the good goes Torregrosa in the lead of the race. or in the lead of qualifying. Now the gaps all seem fairly spread out, but I tell you what, 4th, 5th and 6th in the Pro class. Minton's standing to gain a lot of track position, potentially, if he can pull something out of the bag there. What else do we have going on? Sodre is improving, but not by enough to make a difference at the moment. Abhishek Jha, now that's an interesting one. 25 car has not set a lap time yet. And with his pace, he should be well within the top 10 by a long way. Oh, big old wiggle in front. Who was that? That was Otto Winkler, I think, in the 11 car. It was Otto. Managed to commit the time to stick with it to the end of the championship. And he has been a consistent point scorer as well, which has helped with his second place, I dare say. Last time out at Silverstone. Just watching with Abhishek here though, because his times are very slow. And what you've got to ask the question, what is causing this pace from Jha through the final corner? Is this going to be a legitimate lap? It is, and he pushes himself to 4th. That's more like it, Jha. Well done. Awesome. Great to see the 25 car up to 4th position. We still have 8 minutes remaining, so that is not said and done. Borovec will come across the line and go, wow, and neither Zach too. The track is getting faster as neither Zach comes across the line and goes to 2nd, and within a 10th of a second of the 7 car. Joe Kick 2 is on a fast one for him at the moment and could stand to gain quite a few positions if he can hold it all together through the final sector. Gets back on the throttle nice and patient and smooth. Great to see Joe Kick getting some pace and up to 10th. I dare say, Zamora is going faster as well, just in front on the field. The question is, how can he hold on to this through to the end of the lap? He's gone faster again, but lost out a bit on the drive. But it's only a short squat up the hill until you're feathering the throttle and trying to control it through the apex of turn 12 again. Andy Brooker just in front of this 77 car as well. Might possibly give him some kind of aero wash, which will help him across the line. 0.6 of a second up as he comes into the final straight. He goes to the top of the timesheets. Diego Zamora, we were watching him for a reason. That 77 car to the top of the timesheets and provisional pole, eking out every inch of advantage that he can make. And Dan Minton now 7 laps completed to 4th position. And here is where it's going to start getting interesting. We watch for the timing screens to light up as Torregrosa comes across the line another 0.3 faster. And that is enough to put him quite comprehensively in the lead. It is Torregrosa, Zamora, Zach, Minton and Borovec, your top 5 coming in to the last 5 minutes, and all of the top 3 are going faster. Jokic 2 is trying to put some more time in to up his pace. We're focusing on the leader at the moment, but that is because he's going even faster. Up to the kink at turn 9. I'm not even going to try and pronounce some of these names. I think they're all actually sponsors, aren't they? Yeah, Repsol, Lecaxa, RACC, Europe Sport, Europe Car, sorry. Yeah, all the corners are sponsor names. Across the line comes Torregrosa, 146.5. Good grief, he goes even faster. Abhishek Shah is trying his luck as well. Jokic has the potential. Jokic might be the man to watch actually as he comes across the line, pushes himself right the way up to 6th position. Torregrosa is in the pits. Is this his day done? I can't imagine it is just yet. I'm sure we'll see that P disappear from alongside his name shortly. Borovec is going a little faster as well, but it hasn't quite got the drive down the hill of all places. Through turn 9 is 3/10 up. You can do your own maths on where that would put him in the stack. Not quite as lightning fast as the performance we saw last week. At Silverstone. But his pace really did come to the fore when it came to the race. The consistency of that 22 car really was what won him the points on that occasion. So all Borovec needs to be is within eye shot of the leader as they come into turn 1 on the first lap of the race, and it looks as though he might possibly be doing the work to make that happen. Comes across the line and goes to 2nd. That was an enormous difference coming across the line. And all of that was on the exit of the last corner. How long has Filip been trying to work on the exit of that final corner to get across the line in the most effective manner possible? Astonishing. And with 1 minute 40 to go in this qualifying session, there aren't any drivers running that much faster at the moment. Borovec is actually running identical times to where he was last lap. But it looks to me as though we're about done in this qualifying session. Oh, a minute to go though. I'm going to put the kibosh on it. Wow, I didn't know you could get hooked over that inside curb. That's terrifying for Borovec. Very interesting. Yep, into the pits comes Filip. Zamora will come across the line and start another lap. As he does his very, very best to cling on to that 77 car. He doesn't look like he's going too much. What's going on with Andres here? Apparently he's 2 seconds faster. Across the line? No. So from the glory of last race with a dominant flag to flag victory in the 78 car in the AM class, demoted all the way to, what is that, fourth in the AM class in qualifying. What a turn of events, but I don't think anyone's going any faster. Zamora is going slightly quicker. Can he keep it together through the final sector, though, is the question. On the brakes into turn 13, and then 14 and 15 are just here, where it all gets squirrely. And Zamora, thank goodness this is sim racing, because that would have been an awful accident to have in the real cars. But a lot of Peter Baintner is still circulating too. Not going any quicker, but he is one of 3 cars left on track as the checkered flag has now come out. I'm pretty sure, oh my goodness, Torregrosa to the top of the timesheets with a 146.1, so close to getting into the final. Oh, so close to getting into the 145s. So, because I can, and because we have a good little while to look over the wonderful designs of our GT3 drivers, let's run you through the starting grid for round 4 of the ISDA Porsche Cup Challenge here on YouTube. So, leading the way, as he has on so many occasions, is the number 7 car of Alex Torregrosa. Alongside him, and looking, I'm sure, to make some kind of leapfrog into turn 1, is Filip Borovec. A return to form, it feels like, for the 89 of Nidazak in 3rd position, with Diego Zamora in the 77 alongside him in 4th. Dan Minton, the first on the 3rd row of the grid, and I'm sure he will be thinking up his strategy through the early parts of this race. Dejan Jokic alongside him in the 74. So reverse numerical orders for row 3. Abhishek Jha with that 025 car is in 6th and 7th, and in 8th is Joshua Peterson in another pro car. His brother a little bit further down. Remco Langendijk will be the last of our pro cars for this evening in this 16 car grid. The rest of the cars are in the AM class, so pole for Peter Baintner in the AM class for, I think, the first time in that 610 car, other than the first race maybe at Paul Ricard. He had a different sticker. Leon Peterson in the 627 is 11th overall and 2nd in AM class. Andy Brooker in the 130 will be in 12th. 13th will be Andrej Kujar. 14th will be Matteo Monicelli. 15th will be the 13 car of Jean Sodre. And 16th, and pulling up the rear, will be the number 11 car of Otto Winkler. Wonderful looking car, a wonderful looking field, to be very fair. And as we creep up to the back of the field, a moment for me to rest my breath for a second, and probably for everyone who's listening on YouTube to take their final breath for what will probably be an hour of non-stop action-packed racing. Oh boy. So, the calm remains. I tell you what, let's just get... Because, again, we have this lovely free drone cam that we can use. Let's just get a few of the drivers here as they go for their warm-up. Like, this is a look that we've never seen before. As we'll settle down on the top of the main grandstand here. Unfortunately, if I need to work out how to go up and down in this thing. Imagine having all of this to look across as the engines begin to rise. I have to do this manually as well with a mouse. It's not fun. And ACC still being an absolute tax on the GPU. You can hear the cars on the right hand side will hopefully drift slowly across to the left there. And up into the Spanish Hills they climb for the first time. We will have to see where the action comes in the early stages of the race. There we go. Get it up to the leaders. Neither Zach having a real opportunity here. With the potential of the two leading cars. Getting involved with each other, and this being very much a flow and momentum track. It's going to have to be a very clean launch from Torregrosa, and a lot of compliance from Borovec, who will be looking to make a charge through the first corner, as it's probably one of the best opportunities that he will get at taking Torregrosa in a straight fight versus having to play strategy through the centre part of the race as they are trying desperately to get heat into the tyres. It's a bit early in the lap to be doing that. And the track temperature in the top right of your screens, ladies and gentlemen, has now gone all the way to 39 degrees. In the mid-afternoon here in Barcelona. We'll also need to be watching out for Andrej in that 78 car. A lowly fourth for the time being for that lime green machine, but never ever count him out. He's had a lot of bad luck in these early stages of the championship, and with his win last time out, he's looking to maximise his opportunities through the rest of the season. We'll put eyes on Dan Minton. I'm hoping that he'll be in a decent position. The 89 car is right on the bumper now. Form up 2x2. Lovely neat formation. This is something that I love ISDA for. Their formations are so clean and tidy. Running over the grid boxes on the limiter. We wait for the green, and it is way sooner than I was expecting. Good grief, a drive-through for Leon Peterson already as they come down towards turn one for the first time of asking. It is Torregrosa defending to the inside. Meanwhile, Minton and Borovec behind. No, neither Zach and Borovec behind, going 2x2 with Dan Minton now making it up to fourth, putting Diego Zamora wide. Zach tries to turn in onto a 75 car. That what he wasn't expecting to be there. Dan Minton to third position, the leaders managing to keep themselves clean, but all change as they run through the first timing split for the first time in the race, and everything goes insane, and behind that is cars off in the background. Who is that? That has fallen away. That is Joshua Peterson and Leon Peterson, the two family members. We know that much. I think we should be okay to jump to replay very quickly. Joshua and Leon, let's get it to the right position. Oh, and was it a mistake from Leon Peterson? Go to the heli camera on the brakes. He's just out braked himself ever so slight, gets a big old wiggle on the curbs on the inside, and that is what happens when you haven't done your defensive driving practice. Nice and simple mistake to make. But Leon's already got a drive through. Up to your leaders, and we'll stick with this helicam as they come flying out onto the main straight, which is so satisfying to watch them get spat out of the downhill curve at 16, which is called Catalonia. Strangely, and once again we have to go to 4th and 5th to find the best battles, as Diego Zamora runs wide once again. This time unforced, perhaps he's finding that's a preferred line. Diego Zamora having qualified very high up, slowly slipping away in these early stages. Perhaps either not being able to get the tyres up to temperature or getting way too much tyre temp in the warm-up lap. It's going to be one of them. A moment of peace once again, as Sodre is under pressure now from Andre Kushar. Assetto, watch out for him. Third in the AM class at the moment. That's the 13 car for close company too. And out towards the third sector of the track. The lacking in flow section, if I can be so bold. I don't think anyone's overly happy with the state of that chicane. Across the line they come. Minton now applying pressure to the 22 car of Filip Borovec. Borovec's had to drop back from Torregrosa. Looking in his mirrors now is the 22 on the 75. It looks like Dan has got a much more balanced car, being able to chuck it towards the apex. Let's have a ride on board with him very quickly. Nice wide angle here. Judging by that rear drift, he's got the brake bias set quite a way back for this car on the brakes, and now Diego Zamora is bringing himself back into the fight by a big kick of oversteer. Puts pay to that, and let me get Niederzach's made the position. That is Diego Zamora to 5th. Do not believe the timing screens at the moment. We need to wait for them to come through. I think this is the second split here. There we go. So now it is Zach that needs to do the defending, and Zamora that gets the opportunity to try and take that place back. What else do we have going on? Looks like Joshua Peterson has served Leon Peterson. Leon Peterson's 20 seconds out. Peterson, Joshua is under pressure from Andy Brooker, it looks like. So perhaps, I think I can see, yeah, there is some damage on that 148 car. That will be
incident between cars 6 to 7 and 148 under investigation.
Ooh, so the stewards are looking at it despite there being family members. That's good to see the rule being... Oh, Zamora! Zamora, and that is Remco Langendijk involved in some kind of accident. What has occurred there? Minton is doing excellent as well, by the way, Steve. Pred, is that you, Tom? Let's jump to replay nice and quickly, and let's get eyes on that 77 car of Diego Zamora, starting in third. Good grief. Is going side by side with the 999 car. How did Remco get that far up? So Zamora has made a mistake in the meantime, is going to go into turn 1. And, oh, just the 999 car pulling in to the 77. Oh! And a little bit of poor communication. Now, so what has occurred? Oh, there we go. That's all it was. Much better controlled than he was during qualifying, but now a bad night is going worse for Zamora, as an oversteer coming into the final corner, and then a really difficult piece of contact. Let's see if we can get a decent angle from the heli camera here. Side by side into turn 1. All of that's fair, but I'm sure... yeah, I should reserve judgment. That was a bit silly.
Car number 627 receives a penalty of 15 seconds. 50 seconds time penalty for car number 627.
But I do understand where both those drivers came from. Trying to get the best possible drive into turns 1 and 2. Big slide for Dan Minton. Is that going to be a position gain for Ninda Zach? He's going to have to leave room up the inside, and does so.
Incident between cars 148 and 66 under investigation.
And 66. 148 and 66. Interesting. What else do we have going on? Abhishek Jara is doing great in 5th place as well. Having a couple of weeks out and then rejoining the championship and running around in 5th in that 25 car, doing very, very well. Actually, it looks like Zach is... I dare say, I think Zach might be running a low downforce setup, and that's why we're about to see, actually, that the 89 has so much pace in a straight line, but then when it comes back to the cornering, Minton's choosing discretion the better part of valor, and is going to concede those positions for the time being. Remember, in 15 minutes we do have a mandatory pit stop window opening for all of the drivers, so absolutely nothing lost in the race yet for any of the guys on the track right now. Andrej still putting pressure on the 13 of Sodre for second in the AM class, but now with Peter Baintner only a second and a half further up the road, this is suddenly looking like a much more tempting and reasonable proposition for Andrej to take the lead, as Sodre goes very wide through the chicane, and an easy pass in through sector 2 yet again, but this time for the 78 rather than the 75. being passed. The 13s are still looking racy as they come in towards...
Car number 148 receives a time penalty of 15 seconds. Time penalty of 15 seconds for car number 148.
So we didn't see, I don't think, that particular incident. However, I'm interested to see whether the 999 car and the 77 are given a look going over with a fine-tooth comb. Jar now looking to put the pressure on. Zach makes a big mistake, will fly
Incident
across...
between cars 77 and 999 under investigation.
There we go. It's as though the stewards are listening. The 25 car completely missed his braking and had to suicide across the inside. Great heads-up driving by Abhishek Jha to, rather than try and make the corner, just abandon, get back on the throttle and run it across the inside, narrowly missing the wall on the outside of turn 1. Good to see again. And now the gap's a little bit more spaced out. And neither Zach, suddenly with some clear air, is able to pull out a bit of a gap in that second sector. Andy Brooker is going faster than he has all race, but now the gaps are starting to close up. Otto Winkler in the 11 car under pressure from the 148. The 148, who already has a 15-second penalty, needs to be careful with his overtaking maneuvers to Joshua, and that's the 13 car. What's going on with that? Unless that was just blue flags. But outbraking himself again. Where's the 13 car gone? Okay, so that was all for position, and that was Sodre having his own incident by the looks of it. Unless that was related to Andrej getting past. That's a lot of time to lose, though. Let's have a quick look just in case it was something that went on. No, the pass had already been made a while ago. So what happened to Sodre just about here? He's going to get up on the curb. Car goes sideways. Oh, and he gets on the throttle and it doesn't want anything to do with him. That looks like some kind of controller problem. That was very, very peculiar. Awful luck for Gene Sodre there. But right down the bottom of the field, don't tell us there isn't racing from head to tail at ISDA. Zamora is behind the Remco Langendijk, having come together before with the 130 of Andy Brooker and Gene Sodre now in very, very close proximity. Really unfortunate for all of these drivers. I think Andy Brooker is the only driver that we've not seen have some kind of heartbreak in this early stage of the race. It's better to get it all out of the way now.
Car number 999 receives a time penalty of 30 seconds. Time penalty of 30 seconds for car number 999.
No reason given, but I dare say that is not giving racing room, which I think is fair enough. Do think that's fair enough. That is a big old penalty to have to take at the pit stops, though. 10 minutes until the strategies start to take effect. And this is a race that is going to... Whoa! Sodre having another spin. Those tyres must be dead on that poor number 13 car. The fight between 4 becomes 3. And arguably 2, as Zamora has fallen off the back slightly of this fight as Remco Langendijk goes for a big old dive up the inside of Andy Brooker. And I guess that's work that had to be done. He had to try and do it somewhere where there was some kind of braking zone. Oh boy. Joshua Peterson, it looks like, has abandoned to the pits. Oh, that was a big ol' oversteer from Peterson there that allowed Zamora back through. Guess it was only a matter of time. But Minton, having lost the position to Abhishek Jha early on in the race, is now trying to screw the threads in to that 25 car. Push for the mistake. We know Abhishek Jha is a lightning quick driver. Don't know about his constitution though. Can he keep that 25 car in front of the 75 and on the black stuff all at the same time? Minton is trying everything in his book to find the pace to make it past Jha here. And it looks as though in clear air there is an opportunity for the 75 to make it through. But Remco Langendijk now on the back of the 11 car. Or was on the back of the 11 car. Where's the 11 car gone? Otto has fallen back 2 places in a single sector, and that's all the way through the final sector that we've seen. That was an enormous amount of drive, or a big mistake that... where is Otto? There is Otto. Remco has already gotten past, so a big old dive by Remco, nice and clean, and a lot of compliance from Otto here. That was a lot of compliance from the 11 car to let the 999 car through, and I'm sure there's... yeah, he's just going to dive out of the way. There you go. Indicator on and everything. Simple as that, no mistake, just he knew that wasn't his fight. He is after Monticelli, who is quite a way further up the road. But apparently Zamora... no, Zamora is okay. So a fight rejoined. This time in reverse. Remco Langendijk with a 30-second penalty is going to be dropped right out of this fight when it comes to the pit stops. But he's going to have some work to do in the second stage of this race. The 77's looking racy again. Jha. Minton has made the pass on Jha now. So it happened again during the last sector. Jar probably starting to lose his tyres, I would suggest. I wonder if Minton has done his usual trick of looking after the round rubber things on each corner of that 75 car and can win this particular race on strategy. Oh, they're as close as anything. Zamora and Remco Langendijk on the brakes. The 999 had to go defensive. He's going to wash wide, but manages to keep it into the apex just enough to keep the 77 behind. The 999 goes middle of the road to block again as Zamora goes right to the racing line to try to get the optimum traction off of the corner. Down to the left-right kink at 7 and 8 they come. And who is going to have the stability to get it the throttle down soon? It looks like Remco is just ahead on the throttle application there. On the brakes now. Zamora is getting properly racy and perhaps losing a little bit of pace from trying to stick to the bumper of that 999 car when what he needs is a lovely bit of slipstream along the start-finish straight. A big old drive off the final corner about here as the 999 car goes wide on entry. Gets the hammer down. The Zamora is right on his bumper as they come across the start-finish line. A nice smooth sweep across the track for the 77 car. It's going to be the same all over again as they come down into turn 1. Remco Langendijk sits to the middle of the road, takes a smooth drift back towards the racing line. Zamora thinks better of it though on this particular occasion. Tries to get the throttle down, but a big old kick of oversteer will put pay to the 77 car's attack as it looks like Minton, who was putting some pace between himself and Abhishek Jha, has fallen back once again. So perhaps the king of consistency is starting to struggle in these 38-degree conditions now, as we are a minute or so away from the pit window opening. This could be about perfect for these two cars to pull interesting strategies come the end of the pit window. Where is the leader? Only a 2-3 second... well, no. That is because someone's retired. A 7-second gap for Alex Torregrosa, and you have to wonder if anyone can come anywhere close to that number 7's car's pace. You just saw in the very back of your screens, actually you might not have because of the ISDA logo, Borovec as Torregrosa was entering turn 3 was only just entering turn 1. So then this lap, the end of this lap, I dare say, is going to be the start of the pit window with 30 seconds left. Oh, do you slow down to make sure you get it? I'm sure for Torregrosa he's not overly fussed and he'll probably be pitting around the 30-minute mark as opposed to the very opening stint. But who can gain from this? Zamora could push the case with Remco Langendijk, even though Remco isn't really in that fight anymore. With a 30-second pit stop, he is going to have quite a bit of company further down the field. Who else could potentially gain from this? The pit window is open, so who is going to be the first to dive to the pit lane? No takers as yet in the top few. No, Borovec drops into the pits as does neither. Zach going for the undercut for that. Who else is that? That's Abhishek Jha dropping into the pits too. Dan Minton, as always, will go long. That strategy has worked for him a few too many times for him to question the strategy at this point. This could be an opportunity for for Diego Zamora to... Remco's into the pits. There we go. 77 car is unleashed from the back of the 999 car. About half the field are choosing to take the opportunity of pitting really quite early into this pit window. Borovec and Zach are completed with their pit stops. And there's now so much space for Zamora to put in those hot laps that we know that he's good at. Minton is promoted to second for the time being. I wouldn't be surprised if he were to get onto the podium with the way that he is able to make those tyres last longer than they really should do. No, Minton pitting very early. Zamora is going to take the opportunity too. So I assume this is them trying to work out when is the ideal time to make that happen, as Peter Baintner goes to third position overall. Of course, it will be a temporary fixture for the AM leader. But an excellent, excellent run by the 610 tonight. I wonder how many people aren't familiar with the Barcelona track layout and its millions of iterations, including the World Rallycross circuit across this part of the track in Sector 3, where they actually run the track in reverse just to really confuse everybody. As the 610 is going to circulate on to another lap, let's do a run on board with your AM leader and now second, albeit on pit stops, for Peter Baintner, who will crank it up to sixth gear, run out onto the AstroTurf on the outside. That's not a line that you see a lot of pro drivers doing. Down into third gear for turns 1 and 2, and then turn 3 is this achingly long, where especially in R-Factor 2 you watch the tyres boil and burn on the left hand side depending on how your car's balanced. Turn 4, Repsol is on the brakes, a second gear. Go on. It's going to live with third gear for the exit, and then you fall down the hill to this left-hand hairpin at turn 5. Once again, second gear on the throttle as early as you dare, especially in these cars. And then the kink at turn 6 and turn 7 and 8 is the left-right chicane. Cornering while braking is always a no-no, but that's something you have to do here. Back onto the throttle and up through the kink at turn 9. A adverse camber over the crest right-hander, which you have to be so brave to keep anywhere close to flat. And now one of the revised sections, Lecaxa turn 10, turned into a double left kink, the first one being tighter. Turn 12 is the long right-hander that leaves you across the top of the circuit, where you get a very brief glimpse of the Barcelona countryside. Turn 13, 14 and 15 is the frankly appalling final sector, kind of recently added. And into the pits goes the 610 car, limited to an awfully slow speed. And he will be last into the pits along with Alex Torregrosa. Andrzej Kushar looking to gain big time from the pit stops, though, as Baitner is in the pits. Andrzej has managed to leapfrog the 66 car by somewhat of a margin. That looks like a 15-second penalty, to be fair. And is now putting the 74 Pro Class car under pressure for potentially a position. Baitner still on the jack stands as Kushar comes through the final turns. He is off the jack stands. Now he is rolling, and we just need to see. He's coming out of the pit lane now. This is going to be so close as Andrzej Kushar comes past the pit lane. And that will be the lead of AM for Andrzej Kushar in the 78 car. Job done for the lime green and orange machine. But now the work is on Baitner to make the position back. Andy Brooker under pressure from the 627 of Leon Peterson. Once again, one of those battles where it's down the back of the field, but it's just as important. Remco Langendijk behind as well. He's only 5 seconds behind this battle, so will be trying to make hay while the sun shines. 627 looks to the outside of the 130, tries to get the cutback. It's not going to happen through turns 1 and 2, where it gives the 130 space to get back to the apex. But now it looks like that 627 has just got a little bit more grip than the 130 on the brakes into turn 4. And they come out as they went in for the time being. You have to wonder just how much pressure Brooker can take, because this is for position. This is absolutely for position in the AM class. This is one of those occasions where having a co-commentator would be really handy, as Minton has fallen behind Abhishek Jha once again in that battle over 4th. That's all happened during the pit stop window, as 627 will cut the final chicane. I don't blame him, honestly. But Minton's hungry for that position back. looks as though that's about all the balance we have on at the moment. I'm not going to say that Barcelona's not a great track for racing, but it's not producing what we would expect at the moment from this wonderful class of cars, and we know how close these drivers are on pace. What else is there for us to look at? That 75 car in the resplendent white. If we look at the slightly more zoomed in camera, there it is no longer white. Even when Dan's had a very successful race so far in that 75 car, it has not survived unscathed as far as the white paint is concerned. What is going on here? Is this a 3-car battle now, as Sodre has dropped back into the clutches of Andy Brooker? And Leon Peterson. This is a difficult fight now for all three of these drivers, because it's not just one car you're fighting, it's two. You need to defend and attack. In the case of Brooker, who takes a kick to the inside to try and make it work. Nothing doing for the time being. Oh, there's a big old dive up the inside from Peterson. Can he keep it on the black stuff? Yeah, he can. Wonderful maneuver from Leon Peterson to get that car to 5th in the AM class at the moment. With how Sodre is performing, I don't know how soon he will be able to make any progress further for the time being. And now Andy Brooker is starting to fall away. 627 is going to try and pull the same trick, but can't. 13 has it covered. On this occasion anyway. Up into turn 4. Oh dear. That was a very late apex. I think that might have been on purpose from Leon Peterson. Big wiggle across. Is he going to try and do the same thing again? The 13 car is better on the brakes than Brooker was last time around. Big old kicker oversteer, and that is really unfortunate contact for the 627. Hopefully, great avoidance by Langendijk to escape more contact, but heartbreak for the 627 car. Joshua having retired, and now Leon Peterson at the back of the grid. A lot of work to do, but this is where we find out a driver's mettle. How can he get his head back in the game and work that magic with 19 minutes to go and take back those places. Remco has finally caught up to the back of the AM class. And the rest of the field seemed to be quite reasonably spread out. That was a very wide moment from Sodre in front. I get the distinct
Car
feel.
number 67 receives a warning for an incident with the car number 130. A warning for car number 67.
Yep, too early on the throttle. Was trying way too hard to keep the position rather than get the car back in a straight line before he applied the throttle. But he did lose out. And he didn't cost the 130 all that much. If he was very lucky, the 130 may not even be carrying any damage from that tiny knock. This is the man to watch though, Remco Langendijk with the 2 AM cars in front. This isn't for position, this is for pride. As Monticelli too is trying his hardest to pull as Brooker goes for the move on Sodre. Side by side they come across the line, 600ths of a second between them, which ironically was bigger than some of the gaps we had in qualifying. That's just how competitive this field is. Brooker gets the pass just about made, but now puts the 13 car right offline in a big old wiggle for Sodre. Will allow the 999 car to the inside. Positions gained, not in class, but overall for the 999 car. And I dare say a potential battle over 4th position now, having gained and lost that 4th position for Dan Minton several times over. This seems to be the curse of Minton at the moment, to be stuck behind a car on a track where it's very, very difficult to pass. I'm sure he would prefer to be the defending driver rather than attacking at this point. And all is looking very clear at the moment, he says. This battle over 4th has been going on for the entire race. Really has. Who would have thought, with Abhishek Shah's early pace in this championship and the bad luck that he had, he would be fighting with Minton for 5th place in the pro class. But it looks as though Minton's going to be falling back, as perhaps he's trying to look after the tyres a little tiny bit more in this late stage of the race. Boehner is out on his own. Langendijk and Sodre look to be fairly close to each other. just looking through the timing screens. The fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:46.995 is your race leader of Alex Torregrosa. Behind him is the 1:47.121 of Nida Zak. 1:47.247 will be the next faster time from Borovec. And then we get into some of those who haven't been able to have the cleanest of runs with the 47s, high 47s from Abhishek Jha, Dan Minton, Dijan Jokic, as well as Diego Zamora, and that's about it. 1:48s. These are fastest laps, by the way. 1:48s for Peter Baintner, Andrej Kuchar, Matteo Monicelli, also no Andy Brooker, Remco Langendijk, Gene Sodre just jumping in by 100th of a second, and Leon Peterson with that 627 car. Meanwhile, Dan's starting to ramp up a little bit of an attack yet again. Just needs to time that 75 car to put out his ultimate pace. Oh, I have been dragged to the race control room.
This time you noticed.
I did notice, yeah. No, it was the pop that gave it away. I was like, that's not a noise I should hear.
So this time you heard it?
Yeah, well, no, I heard a pop as opposed to you were dragged kind of notification. You know, streamer mode and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but at Silverstone you were really surprised by me all of a sudden speaking to your stream.
Yes, I was very surprised. No, I'm starting to get used to it now. So we have both of the founders of ISDA in the stewards room tonight, and what is the group conclusion of the race so far?
Maybe the race director should speak?
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's unbelievable how calm it is tonight, isn't it? That's what I would say.
Yeah. You understand now. Well, we understand now, but even with these exactly the same performance cars, why they say Barcelona isn't the greatest track for racing.
Because it's not.
Yeah. Great test track, as far as I know.
Yeah, but for racing, I mean, it's not quite nice. Although I would really like to see it updated.
Perhaps that's a subject of conversation as we have 10 minutes to go in the race. What updates could they do to this iconic layout?
I mean, the update that was brought in, this winter for the track, for the hairpin part, and
yeah. So the update that they brought in was they took out the hairpin and elongated the corner so it's actually longer than it used to be.
Yeah.
Are they putting banking on that as well?
I think it's a slight banking. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's not a total camber. It's not a total like a bowl. It's just the camber.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I think they are missing the most important part of the track that needs to be changed, which is the part where Jokic is going through currently in the 74 car.
Oh yeah, I think we'd love to see a MotoGP layout here.
Yeah.
Is it still used in MotoGP?
I think it is actually. I think that's the only time that it is used because, well, the reason why they don't use that layout for cars anymore is because the cars are too quick. They're too fast to be able to actually use that track layout. But there's a couple of things that they could be doing about that. Like the problem, the issue that it seems to have is there's no flow. Because you stamp on the brakes and you have to slow down for the square right before the chicane. And then you have to slow down even more for the left-hander of the first corner of the chicane. And then you have to get out of the corner before you can... It just, for such a flowing and high-speed circuit, it just breaks all that momentum.
Absolutely, I have to agree with you. I mean, it's... one of the tracks I can surely say I hate, to be frank with you. I mean, it always produces some dull moments, and we really miss out here on tracks that appear in other series, I think, such as, I don't know, Algarve or Mugello. I think those would be a really good mix for GT cars. I mean, I cannot imagine the speed that GT cars would carry over Mugello. I think it would be mental.
Yeah, 100%. Especially with the updated tyre models and all of the development work that's been put into these cars. Imagine how awesome it could be. Especially some of the long shots you could get with ACC's beautiful graphics as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although, with a lot of mods, AC actually looks quite nice as well.
Oh, totally. No, 100%. 100%. As I say, the reason why I didn't like AC was because of the tyre model and the force feedback. Never really got on with it. But
yeah, don't say that in front of our third steward here. That's Marin from Assetto Corsa, Croatia. They just had a super cool championship of classic DTMs. A championship that I was actually commentating on.
Oh, wonderful. Cool.
Albeit in our local language, so it was nice to get back into commentating for sure, but I'm not 100% confident that I would make it in English, to be honest.
That's fair enough. No, I understand that. It's okay. What we can do is we can have two streams at the same time. I'll commentate in English and you can commentate in Croatian.
Yeah, something like that.
I see nothing wrong with that. That sounds absolutely fine. No, I have enough on my plate already with the stuff that I've got going on. So, coming down into the closing stage of this race, and I will come up and see you guys after the race as well. I have a thought. But we currently have. Don't worry. I'm saying it. I'm saying it in very, very public space so that I remember, because I won't remember otherwise.
We'll remind you, I'm sure.
Legends. Torregrosa leading the way. From what I understand, he's only taking part to defend his championship this time. Borovec, a late entry. What's your opinion on that, on Borovec joining so late in the championship? Is that something do you think he can challenge in the end?
Well, did he join late? Oh yes, Silverstone was his first race. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that Alex has a competitor. Albeit this time it does not look like competition that much with that 18-second gap, but I mean, it was really, really fun to watch. Not fun, I don't want to be disrespectful, but really entertaining to watch Alex to try and get past Filip. So
yeah,
I hope more of these in our next iterations. And yeah, I hope that we get some cool fighting on.
Yeah, 100%. And as ACC gradually add supported classes basically to the game, I'm sure that ISDA will be taking full advantage of all of the opportunities there to have some lovely fixed class racing and get all the drivers nice and close and bunched up together and give them some unique challenges.
By the way, I now see in the chat that Zach has suffered internet disconnection.
I thought
that's such a shame, man.
100%. I thought I saw a car disappear. I wasn't sure where it disappeared from. No, Zach, that's really unfortunate for you. They're really unfortunate because yeah, you were having a lovely time tonight.
Yeah, it will bring up some heat into the championship. But did you take a look at the AM championship?
Yes, Yeah, the AMP Championship is ridiculous how close it is. I don't think it's going to be as close come the end of this race. Give me a second, because I need to get back to the results which I was looking at just before the race. It's really annoying. Minton keeps on making his way up to the 25 Abhishek jar and then just not able to do anything about it. As we look at the spring for the Drivers' Championship, yeah, it's super tight there, isn't it? Otto Winkler, Andrzej Kushar, Leon Peterson. Well, Leon's not featuring so much tonight, and Peter Baintner, all within 2 points of each other. So yeah, no, very, very competitive, and Andrzej having a fantastic race tonight as well. Not
I would agree.
Yeah, not quite as dominant as his display at Silverstone, but I feel like Silverstone and Barcelona only have so much in common, and the strengths that you could call, or you could say, that Andrzej had last time out probably just haven't quite transferred to this Barcelona circuit. By comparison, Peter Baintner having... I don't remember him winning his class. That's really strange. Oh no, I just didn't speak to him when he won. That was why. Was it Imola?
I think you spoke to him after Paul Ricard, to be honest.
Okay.
He did miss the last race, but only 1 point behind Andrzej after race 3.
Yeah.
So after race 4, he will actually take the lead of the class.
Yeah.
And, Andrzej is there, Leon Peterson is there.
Oh.
We will have quite a mix-up there.
That's something interesting. P3 got a drive-through right now.
I did, yeah. That's going to shake up. Do you know what that's going to do? Is after all of that frustration for Minton through the early start of the race, where he was driving so maturely to try and stay out of trouble as everyone else was trying to dive past him, he's going to get a podium out of this race. In the dying moments, because Abhishek is going to have to take this lap, isn't he?
Yeah, well, actually, this is the last lap for him, and Alex will lead us into the last lap. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Either he takes it now or he gets, I think, 80-second time penalty.
Is it 80 seconds?
Yeah, I think so.
That's an almighty penalty to have to take. That'll push him quite a long way down the road. This won't be the final lap, though. That will be the lap that Torregrosa is coming out onto the start-finish straight for now. And have you thought at any point... Go on.
I once got a drive-through penalty for track limits in the penultimate corner, so I couldn't even take it.
Oh,
because
that's
I was
awful.
already quite fast. That's how I know how much time you gain. Time you lose after...
Oh, whoa. Big wiggle from Abhishek as well. His tyres are definitely on his way out. He has pushed way too hard in that 025 car. But into the pit lane for the drive-through, and will take some damage on the brakes for good measure as well.
Oh, well, even Jokic goes for P4. That's quite a good result for him. I think it might be even season best.
For Jokic, he is pro,
He got P6 and P7 in first 2 races, then missed the last race, and now goes on to take P4. That's a very nice feat.
Yeah, that's going to push him quite a way further up. Where's Zamora? Because Zamora has not featured. He's only a couple of positions behind. Zamora hasn't featured all that much. Well, no, he has featured, but for all the wrong reasons. It's been a very up and down kind of race today, hasn't it? There's the white flag.
Well, yeah, I mean, from his perspective, definitely. After getting that collision with Remco.
What was...
And actually losing quite a lot of time because of it, because they both hesitated to rejoin. They were like letting each other pass, and then both lost out.
Yeah.
A whole chunk of time.
Yeah, I can't. The initial contact was the most unfortunate thing. Of just Remco just about leaving enough space, but not quite enough for Diego. But yeah, absolutely. So Torregrosa will run across the line and take the win. Do we get donuts? We get donuts from our leader. Thank goodness.
Well, it's his home circuit after all.
I was going to say this should be this is his local track, so I'm not surprised that he was so dominant. But back to winning ways for the Spanish driver, and I'm going to bid you guys adieu for the time being.
Yep.
Pleasure as always. I will catch you guys in a bit.
See you soon, Ike.
And with that complete, I don't think there's going to be any other changes for position. Once again, Barcelona being the, let's be generous and say, the well-paced and very flowing track that it is. Abhishek having had to take a drive-through penalty in the end, will drop to within a few seconds of Diego Zamora, and Monticelli will round out the final proceedings. Is the 7th. There we go. Oh, I can't get off of that now. That's a shame. Your timetables for the race then. Taking the win overall will be Alex Torregrosa in the number 7 car. Filip Borovec will take home 2nd. Dan Minton, 3rd position. A well fought for podium. Given a bit of luck by the aging tyres of Abhishek in the end. But still, he had to be there to make the strategy work. Jokic will come home in a well-earned 4th. Peter Baintner will take home his maiden... Wait, I don't think it was... Peter Baintner will take home the victory in the AM class, and it is his 2nd of this short championship as well. So a lot of gains to be made there for him. Andrej Kushar will take home 2nd in the class as well, meaning that Peter will likely be at the top of the top of the standings for the next round at Suzuka. So Diego Zamora and Abhishek will cross the line in 8th and 7th respectively. Monticelli will come home 3rd in AM and 9th overall. Otto Winkler, a well-earned 4th position and 10th overall. Andy Brooker in the 130 will finish 11th. Remco Langendijk in the 999 car will end up in 12th position. Leon Peterson will finish in 13th. Jean Sodre in the 13 car will finish 14th, and Nida Zak will be will he be classified? He was classified, so we'll get points, but unfortunate disconnections in the closing stages of the race for him. First into the comm box and interrupting a conversation, obviously, because my timing is just that good. Alex, what a race! Or was it a test session for you?
Actually, you don't know. It's like I won the championship already.
I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to say anything at all. I was gonna let's get the race out of the way first. So you're banned from all of the rest of the races. Let someone else win.
I guess actually I'm shocked because I already told you a couple of times that I wasn't like putting any practice on this. But 3 weeks ago I had a GT3 race in Barcelona, and it was 2/10 to the legendary Tortellini.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, probably I'm gonna be better today, but I don't thought it was gonna be this much.
Yeah, 100%. But it was very difficult to keep eyes on you, as you didn't really have any pressure throughout the entire race. Filip, after giving you so much pressure and so much stress last time out of Silverstone, just seemed to fall away a bit.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's probably me doing a good performance today more than him, probably because he finished 12 seconds ahead of Minton, which last week we were 20 seconds ahead of Minton. Probably, yeah, he's gonna be a little bit. I was faster and he was a little bit slower today. Probably that explains the massive gap. But actually on qualifying, that last lap was astonishing, and I was like, okay, I guess I had the pace, of course. There's not gonna be pressure. I could manage my tires on the first stint. I did end up with did it on the 4 or 5 first laps, and that actually helped me a lot to do this. I mean, yeah, to have all everything under control and to win the race.
Of course, of course. Okay, now we talk about the championship.
Yeah.
So it's all a kind of perfect storm, isn't it? Not only have we got a round remaining, but no, wait. Oh, I for some reason Silverstone last week just completely went out of my head. So it's Barcelona this week. Suzuka, we've got a round remaining, haven't we?
Next week, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So taking home the championship with a round remaining is obviously an achievement in and of itself. Taking home the championship at Barcelona, at your home track in this particular championship, how does that feel?
I feel awesome. I mean, of course, winning the championship before the last race is actually an accomplishment. But doing it even at Barcelona, I think I've been driven more. The longest time I've put on a track probably would be Barcelona. So I've been there in real life as well, and of course it feels special.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go full like how good is sim racing for just a second. It would mean a lot to have entered a championship like this and to win in such a dominant fashion if it was real life. Does sim racing diminish? Does sim racing diminish the feeling of specialness that you've got on you right now? Or is it just as... It's okay, you're sat in your room in real life and you're staring at the screen which is depicting Barcelona, but does it feel just as special?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're talking about esports.
Yeah.
And this is something new, probably not really that new right now, but it's something new for older generations, which don't understand this. But of course, even though it's virtual, or otherwise, actually, sorry, because real life racing is actually so expensive, and you can with I don't know, with a good computer, let's say 800 euros, and your rig. My rig actually costs 200 euros. I modified a little bit, but I've got the office chair and my TMX Thrustmaster. You don't need more than that to be able to race in the virtual track, and we put even more hours and more effort into it because we want to be the best out there, and because it's more affordable, there's a lot more people competing. So the level is even higher than probably. I mean, I'm not gonna say Formula One drivers are bad, of course not.
Yeah, of course. But there is a lot of time and effort
The level
that goes...
is higher in sim racing.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Alex, congratulations on taking home the championship and doing it in such dominant fashion. So I assume Suzuka is going to be a drift fest and an opportunity for you to let down your hair slightly.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a lovely evening, mate.
Good evening.
Oh man, I'm going to drag the next person into the com box. I think Alex has kind of had enough of us. Andrzej Kuchar, a interesting race for yourself.
Yes.
Good evening and congratulations on salvaging that second place. That was a hard fought for race, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it was. I'm angry at myself because it was a stupid mistake. One of the slower corners in there, and I just touched the curb and was too eager on the throttle, and that's why I spun. Yeah. I had I think I had I don't know, 5 seconds gap, and that was gone. And then I got 8 seconds gap to catch, and yeah. I was then pushing too much, so I destroyed my tires. So it was sliding, and I made more mistakes, and that's why I couldn't catch him.
Yeah.
But I think I would get him in if I wouldn't basically do more mistakes.
Yeah, of course. I dare say that you definitely put the time, like the work in, to earn the position. And moving forward to Suzuka, you're in probably one of the best positions to take home the championship of anyone who finished tonight.
I think so. I think I will be on P2 after this in championship. Yeah, and I have no idea how the car behaves on Suzuka because I didn't drive it there yet, so it will be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. You said about how you were getting a bit too eager on the throttle. It was a problem that we saw with a lot of the drivers where they were desperately trying to eke out every tenth, and as happened with you, we saw time and again drivers getting just a little bit eager on the throttle or a little bit too ambitious with their apex speeds and demanding a little bit too much of what these Porsche Cup cars can handle. What do you think contributed to that? Because there was quite a bit more of it today. Do you think it was the track temperature that was so far out of the comfort levels?
Yeah, it's for sure contributed because I think in the it was basically 40 degrees. Yeah, and the tires were basically gone for a couple of maybe last 3 laps. That's why I pushed too much and made mistakes because the car was just sliding everywhere. But yeah, I think that contributed as well. But that was just that my spin was just the driver error. I pushed too much unnecessarily because I had a gap. The gap was actually increasing, and I didn't have to push that much.
Yeah, 100%. But that's the unique challenge of these cars. That's what makes it so much fun to drive and to watch. And I've said it a million times, and I'll say it a million times more. This field have my full envy, because I would love so much to be able to put myself in that challenge and have some fun with it. Because, oh man, yeah, you have my jealousy for sure. But a good showing in the end, and you take home the points where it mattered. So regroup, recompose yourself, and let's get ready for Suzuka and a very unique challenge next time out.
Yes. I hope Bentner will be able to start because he didn't start in Silverstone.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope he will be able to start to have some nice battle for the P1.
100%. You have a lovely evening, Andrej, and hopefully speak to you next week.
Yeah. See you, and thank you for inviting me here.
Oh, you're always welcome here, man. You know that. Have a good one.
You too.
And lastly, into the combox, and one of the drivers who decided they wanted to come and say hi to me, which is fair enough because the weather is awfully hot today, and I understand drivers wanting to just get out of their cockpits. Peter Baintner, welcome to the combox, a 2-time winner now in the ISDA Porsche Cup Challenge.
Yeah, thank you. And
go on.
Yeah, I'm just super glad.
Yeah, 100%. So going into the final round, for starters, at Suzuka, you will go in there leading the championship. How does that feel? Do you feel more pressure, or are you just looking to execute as best you can?
I think the pressure is starting to relieve because now I have quite a nice gap, and I would have to finish for Suzuka somewhere in the middle. And maybe as you've seen it, I usually don't have problem to be consistent. So I would just have to have a mediocre race, and it's going to work out actually with the league. I hope so.
Yeah, of course. But tonight, was focused on tonight for a couple of minutes. A ridiculously consistent and easy race for the class.
It was actually insanely stressful.
So yeah.
First round, Leon overtook me. I started pushing right away, and it worked out for me because I think he was like kind of felt under pressure, did a mistake, and third or fourth turn he spun or like slipped out, and so I was leading and thought, okay, like just gotta find my pace for now. And then I saw Andre Kuchar like gaining time turn by turn, and there was a point where the race really got stressful, and I had not a perfect pit stop, or let's be honest, everything else than a perfect pit stop, and I ended up behind him after the pit stop. So I started pushing. Andre made a mistake, and then I thought, okay, I'm out again. I have a 10-second gap. Easy going, starting to save my tires. But then I was like kind of saving my tires too much because he was just starting to gain time again and again. And in the end, he managed to get from the 10-second gap down to around 3 seconds again. But fortunately for me, there was no time left to overtake me.
Yeah. So it's fair to say an under pressure kind of race. But you stuck with it. You stuck with it, and you were making your decisions coherently, still at the head of the field. So that bodes well for Suzuka for sure. To be able to keep your head on. You don't have to win the championship.
Yeah, that's correct. So actually, I'm looking forward. A little bit less pressure, more fun.
Yes, 100%. And how are you finding the Porsches now that we've had a couple of races in them? The lack of traction control still a big issue for you, or we everyone's getting used to it a bit now?
I love it. It's like more of a driver's car and less of a electronics car, say it that way. So it's lovely to see how it really depends on a driver to push or not to push and save tires and like all of these things. It's a lot bigger bandwidth in which you're operating.
Yeah. You're going to turn around and tell me that that is, I was going to say much more of a driver's car. So this or a GT3 car? You're one of these people who doesn't like all of the electronics, I assume.
It's a mixture. So sometimes after such a stressful race, it's nice to jump into a GT3 car and do some easy laps and focus more on battling with the others. But yeah, it's a mixture.
Yeah, 100%. Nonetheless, I need to end the stream at some point. Peter, I could talk to you all evening, I really could, but we'll have to cut it short there. Hopefully, we'll get to speak to you next week. And Andrej was in just now, and he said he was really hoping that you were going to be able to start the final round in a not clean way. That's the wrong word. You're not going to have any technical issues or anything like that, so you guys can actually have a race for the championship overall.
Yeah, that would be nice.
There you go.
Cool.
You have a lovely evening, Peter. Thank you very much for coming in and saying hi, and I'll hopefully speak to you next week.
Yeah, definitely. See you. Good night.
Good night, man. And that is enough for tonight. It is boiling here in the UK in my little combox, and it is roasting out on the track. Still 39 degrees on track and 30 degrees in the temperature. I could not imagine having to drive through that, and yet some of the drivers have tonight, being locally based. Thank you very much everyone for watching. My name has been Alex Sky. You've been watching the International Sim Drivers Association Porsche Cup Challenge for the spring season of 2021. It has been an awesome race. A little bit showing how Barcelona is not the best track for racing, but we're going to make up for it next time, going all the way to the east, to the land of the rising sun and Suzuka. A very, very good night to you all.